Hello, welcome back to my craft room. I do apologise, I seem to have lost a video somewhere. Probably when the weather was too hot, way too hot for me. Right, this is a design that has been on Silhouette Studio. Okay, and this is going to be a how-to video today. Okay, including measurements, things like that. I am using the Crafty Hands Kringle & Co. double CD set, and these are some of the backing papers that I've printed onto some card. One is I've double-sided, okay, because that's going to form the basis of what I want, and these are for additional mats and layers if I want them later. So this is a design that's been in the Silhouette store for the Silhouette. Now I appreciate that a lot of people don't have cutting machines, okay, so it's taken me, as you can tell by the gaps in the middle, a few goes to get a version that works properly. Okay, so this is a box, alright, and this is how it opens. Okay, so I'm going to tip it on its side, there you go, and then to close it up, and then it just sits, one side just fits inside the other, if I can get it to work now, and it closes ever so nicely, so there's no gap like that one, and that one, and that one. This is using the 12 Days of Christmas backing papers, but this one has got a gap in, so I'm not happy about that one. So I'm going to put those three to the side, and I'm going to work with this one. Now that, let's see if I can get some writing on there for you. There. Okay, that won't mean absolutely anything to you, so it means something to me, so I'm going to work my way through this. I will put the written measurements up underneath this video, along the bottom, just sort of down here. Okay, so do bear with me, but what I'm going to do first is talk you through what I've done. Using the Kringle & Co. Disc 2, that's got loads of backing papers on. And there's this rather lovely sort of soft snowflake flurry type thing, and then there's this rather decorative image. So I've double-sided that. This is on, I believe this is the 200 or the 250 from Lapache, the Print Perfect set. That's the card that I've used, but I've double-sided it in my printer, so I've printed that one out first, put it back into my printer, and then it's printed this side for me. Okay, this one I'm not too bothered about, because this is going to form decorative mats and layers if I decide that I want them. It's slightly darker, so it should pop quite nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press pause now, and I'm actually going to work on this side, and I'm going to remove this white edge, okay, because I don't want it. So if you bear with me, I'll just go and chop this white edge off. Okay, coming back with a little tip and trick here. Now I've chosen one side and I've removed all the edge, as you can see. Okay, so when I turn it over, most of this here has actually been chopped off, apart from this one here. When you double side something, they don't always end up in exactly the right places. Okay, so although I've trimmed off the border on this, okay, doesn't mean to say that I have chopped off the border on the other, so always remember to turn it over and check that you've got another piece to cut off. Okay, so I'll be back in a tick. Okay, so there we go, I've chopped the other edge off now. Now, you want a piece of card, and I'm going to use my Hoogie on this, okay, because this is where I've worked it all out as well. You want a piece of card that is 26.5 centimetres. So it wants to be there. I need to make a mark, and it needs to be by 19 centimetres. So it's well within the bounds of you having a bit of a snip around the edges. Okay, this works fine. It's 26.5 by 19, so 26.5 along there and 19 that way. Okay, so I'm just going to chop the rest of this off now. Okay, so this piece of card now measures 26.5 by 19. Okay, now there's going to be a lot of flipping and turning, so please bear with me. This is the easiest way to do this, alright, is to do it the way I'm going to do it, because trying to work backwards, yeah, right, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score at 3.5, so 1, 2, 3.5. So I'm going to score there, okay, and then I'm going to score at 10. So I'm going to score at 10. And there is a reason that I do this particular way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it round 180 degrees, okay, and I'm going to score at 1, 2, 3.5 and 10. And that means that any little bits are lost in the middle of this, okay, so we're not having to worry about it because it's in the middle there somewhere. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it onto its long side, and I'm going to score at 6.5, so 5, 6.5. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way down there like that, and then I'm going to turn it 180 degrees, and then I'm going to score at 6.5. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it back, because what I need to do is I need to score at 5.5 centimeters. So 5.5 centimeters, but I only want to score to that first score line. Okay, now there's two ways of doing this next bit. You can do it the way I'm going to do, which doesn't involve having anything else, or what you can do is get a ruler so that you make sure that you're getting the right line, and you can score this bottom piece here. Okay, the way I want to do it is turn it that way, and I'm going to score at 5.5 there. Okay, then I'm going to turn it 180 degrees, and I'm going to score it again at 5.5, and I'm going to flip it over and score again at 5.5. Okay, now Kay Rutter does suggest that you score scores from each side, so if possible, great, do that. Now there is a reason why I'm turning it 180 degrees. There is a score line just here, this one that I've just made at the 5.5 mark. It's not on a score line here, okay, it's actually between the two. It's between the, where is it? It's between 20.5 and 21. So instead of having to slide it up and slide it down and this, that and the other, that's the reason why I've done this way. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to press pause, and I'm going to go over my score lines from the other side. Okay. Okay, so I've scored from both sides. Now, I think you can just about see there's a score line here, and there's a score line here, and there's a score line goes all the way across here. Okay, there's actually, I'm just trying to angle it, you can just see one here, there's a score line runs down there and a score line runs down here. The reason I went back and scored this line at 5.5, these two lines here, is so that it doesn't leave a score across this middle piece here. This piece here is going to be visible if you don't cover it, okay, so this piece is going to be visible, so that's why I broke it down and did the 5.5, then turned it, flipped it 180, did 5.5 again, and then turned it 180 and did it again. So hopefully that's made sense. Alright, now I'm going to press pause and clear my desk, and I will get on with the cutting in the next bit. Okay. Okay, and we're back. I'm wobbling. Right. Now, you need to make a total of 8 cuts on this. I prefer to use the ruler. Okay. I don't know why, it's just something that I prefer to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the first long score line. Okay, so this one runs all the way straight down there. Now what we want to do is we want to cut from here to there. Okay, so let's just get the blade in there. I'm going to do it again to make sure we've gone through. It's gone through there. Yeah. Okay. So I've got a nice clean cut there. And I'm going to go up to the top, and I'm going to not cut until I reach the first score line and down to where the score crosses the page. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly the same again. I'm going to cut down here only to the score line. So I'm going past one and up to the next one. So, there. Okay, so there's another one there. Turn it around, do it again. You can use scissors to do this, but I prefer the cleanness of a knife cut. Okay, and for those of you who have caught my videos before, yes, I've got my nice curved scalpel blade, which seems to be working very nicely for me because I'm not pinging the ends off, which means the blades are lasting longer. There we go. Okay, so I have now got 4 slices in this piece of card. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to cut the lines that don't go all the way across the middle piece. Okay, so let's cut these. So we're going from the top to the cut. It's a nice clean cut on that, not quite. There we go, have now. And then again from that cut out to the edge of the card. So let's see which is the best way to do it. If I do it that way, you'll see what I've done. Okay, I'm just going to do that on this next piece here. So I'll just get the cuts done. There we go. And this one. There we go. Right. This ruler is one from Crafty Hands. It's fabulous. Absolutely brilliant. You can even use this to make envelopes with. It's heavyweight as well. It's not lightweight, so it's not something that moves too easily. Okay, it's a good sturdy ruler. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold all these creases that I've made, okay, including that one there. Right, that one, that one, that one. Whoops, not cut through there. Pay attention. Thank you. That one, and that one. And I will say fold them in both directions because I think it just gives you a better crease. Because you've scored it both ways, it does make folding it a lot easier, and actually getting a good crease is very easy as well. So let's just get all these folded over. That way, and then bring these two across that way and that way. So that is what we've got. We've got a piece in the middle with 2 long sides, and we've got the pieces at the ends with 1 short side on each. Okay, so there's a couple of ways to do this. now comes the scissors for me, because I think it's important that you do trim this, okay, at this point, because it's going to make things fall into place very, very easily. So all I'm doing is I'm taking off the smallest triangle possible off the outside edges, okay, just a tiny little snip, doesn't have to be too much, just on these pieces here, okay, and that one, and then again on this inside here, because these are the pieces that are really going to catch on other pieces as it folds up and down. So we're just going to get rid of the edges on this so it folds nicely without catching. So just get a little snip, there we go. So you see I've just taken these little tiny triangles out. Now I prefer a wet glue, and when I'm doing stuff like this, there's two glues that I like. There is let's grab that one. This one here, which doesn't look like much because I've taken the label off it. This is the Mycroft Studio Essential Glue in a squeezy bottle, which is from Sharon from Glitter Perfect. Okay, but I do want some more of Sharon's glue. The tip on the end is actually from Anne Peak, who does the fine tip bottles, which is what I've put on my Cosmic Shimmer glue. It's the fine tip because I find that it does better. Now the reason that I'm using this glue instead of an ordinary PVA based glue, which is what the Mycroft Studio one is that I find that this dries completely matte, this Cosmic Shimmer. It doesn't have a shine to it when it's dried like a PVA based glue does. Okay, so I'm just folding this into the center and gluing it, and you can see the reason why I said to create the triangles on the sides. So I'm just going to fold it in 90 degrees and then glue, just like that. And then I'm going to turn it round and do exactly the same on this side here. Like I say, I do prefer this glue for gluing matte projects. Okay, so anything that is not shiny, I will use this glue for. Anything that's shiny, I use a PVA based glue, because you don't see it if any glue slips out. So here's the last piece. So using the fine tips means you don't use any more glue than you need to. Okay, so there we go. Right, so that's that one. That's the two ends, the two edges. So the next one is to bring these two sides up. Okay, and they need to be glued because they're going to form the basis of our box. Okay, so what I tend to do is I put a good dollop of glue on the edge of this side, and then I fold this one in and I put a good dollop of glue on the outside edge of this side, because then when I bring the two together and up, it's going to give me a double glue without it being squirting out all over the place, and it will only have gone where I wanted it to go. Okay, so just gluing those two together there. So it's got to be the inside edge of this one here. So I know I've got enough room to do it. Okay, so there's that one there, and then it's got to be the outside edge of this one here. Okay, and that will give me a nice finish. So let's line that up like that. Now there is one thing that I want to do with this before I go any further. So let me find my pen. I'm going to pop it back in my, because I finished with the glue now. That's it, it's done. In all honesty, this box is theoretically finished. Okay, you just fold the sides up and you just make one, just slightly slide inside the other, and it will give you a perfect closure on your box, like that. Okay, so I'll fold it up, fold the other one up, make sure it goes over the outside on both edges and on the corners, and there you go, a perfect surprise box. Okay, but I'm going to press pause and then I'll be back. Okay, and I'm back. Now I'm going to raise this so that you can see it. Now, can you see here? I tip it just ever so slightly. There is a white edge. I don't like it. Okay. Now, even though I've cut this by hand, I haven't used my scissors and I haven't done the 45-degree bend. Okay, because I've used a knife, but it's still giving me a white edge, which I don't want. Now, for me, this is the Stormy Sky Distress Pen. Okay, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this up and run this. I'm going to do it under the camera, just around here. Whoa, Nelly, that was not good. It's alright, you can't see it because it's the right colour. I'm just going to take the edge of those white pieces off. Okay, if I show you the other side, which I haven't done, you see that's clearly got a white edge and that one hasn't. Okay, so it's not as obvious to the eye with this. So Stormy Sky is the colour that I would say, if you're using the Kringle and Company 2-disc set, the blue set, I would suggest using the Stormy Sky Distress Ink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press pause and I'm going to finish getting rid of all these nasty white edges. Okay. Okay, and I'm back. So what we have here is no white edges. Okay. Which way around am I going? Just remember to pull one just slightly outside the other, because it does give a much better finish to the box with it being a nice tight close. Do you know what I mean? There's lots of things you can do with this. You can tie it with ribbon. Okay. Obviously you can cut your mats and layers for this. If you're going to mat this piece here, I would say 3 centimeters wide. Okay, for this piece. That's the strip that you want if you want to put mats and layers onto it. But actually, looking at this one now, I think that's quite pretty just as it is. But I am going to go on, and I'm probably not going to use this sheet. I will find another sheet, I think. Oh, I don't know. I'll have a look. I'm going to go and play a little bit now, and then I'll come back to you with a fully decorated box. Okay, and I'm actually just about done. Because of the design on this paper, I don't want to cover it up. It's part of the issue. So what I've done is, using another sheet from the Kringle and Co. Disc 2, I've cut a strip with these snowflakes and made a belly band for the box. Okay, now in the centre of each of the snowflakes on the belly band, I've actually put a pearl, apart from the bottom. Okay, please don't put a pearl on the bottom, because your box is going to wobble and it's not going to stand still, and it's going to look wrong. The other thing is, depending as to which way around you put your belly band on your box, if you're putting it on across the sides of it, okay, you do want to be careful about decorating the sides. Now mine, I don't know if this is picking it up very well, but I've got a shed load of glitter on there, okay, and on the other side as well. And I did start by putting some glitter on these here. Now obviously as your band slides over, it's just going to rub on your glitter and it's just going to start coming off. Okay, so you might want to think about where you're actually glittering first. But these look great, you know, like a small series of them. They're big enough for a bag of chocolate coins or something like that, you know, just the little odd presents that you want to put under the tree just in case. But if the packaging looks nice, do you know what I mean? It could be a little set of fairy rockers or something like that inside, or a little bag of jelly beans or something like that, but a decent looking box. If it's sat underneath the tree, you know, they're going to think, oh, you know, they've thought about it, when in actual fact you haven't really, because it hasn't taken you that long to do it. Okay, so hopefully you've enjoyed this. You can use these for all time of year, you know. You can even do sort of lucky dips with them, really. You know, put something in there, put a piece of string on, or let them pick a number. And they don't take a lot to do either. I mean, even if you did them in plain white card, which is the one that I've got all my writing on to tell me which exact measurements I need, so that sort of writing doesn't mean anything. But, you know, it looks good, and it's come from one sheet of A4, not a sheet of 12x12 or a sheet of A3. It's come from a sheet of A4. Now, we all tend to have A4 in our stash, you know, and it's something that the kids can do with you, you know, if you're doing it for summer fairs, if you're doing it for Christmas presents, Christmas fairs, you know, and it looks good, you know, it looks different to what most people provide. Okay, so that's my box. I am going to include a screenshot at the end of all my drawn out properly instructions, which I hope will make sense. But there you go, pretty little box. Let me know what you think of it, and whether I need to make any adjustments to my drawing. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Bye.